Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, next month, I'll receive my first Social Security payment. And it's going to come in handy. Being a comedian, much as I love it, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes there's work coming in, sometimes there won't be. And having a steady paycheck will be very helpful getting through those lean times. Now, I have managed to make a living doing stand-up since 1997. In addition to stand-up, I've had the occasional acting gig. And that ain't bad. I'm very proud of the fact that I have been able to do stand-up for as long as I have as my only job, and be able to keep from being homeless. But I'm not super famous. I'm semi-famous. So my bank account doesn't really match my talent. And there are a lot of comics who are in the same boat as me. People that work regularly because club owners know they're funny, they're always going to get a good show. And we hustle, and we get to do the thing we love. So I have no complaints. But let's say that I were one of those superstars of comedy with like Kevin Hart, who's right now like the hottest guy in comedy. He's got all kinds of movies going on, gets mega bucks for a show, and he's doing really well. Let's say that I was in that situation. Well, I wouldn't collect Social Security because I wouldn't need it. And it's not like it's a difficult process. The application process is pretty straightforward and simple. But why take money from the government if you don't need it? As I understand it, the purpose of Social Security is to make sure that senior citizens don't fall into poverty. And indeed, the average senior income of senior citizens on Social Security is about $26,000 a year. And when we think of Social Security, those are the people that we think of. So it might surprise you to learn that in 2010, 47,535 millionaires were collecting Social Security. Their payments were totaled $1,435,000,000. And since your Social Security payments are based on your earnings, those people are the ones who get the biggest amounts. Now, even the largest Social Security payment is not that big. It's somewhere over $2,000. I think $2,533, I believe. So it's not a huge payment. But you have to wonder about millionaires who do that. Of course, I don't begrudge them it. And obviously, they paid into the system, and they're as entitled to Social Security as anybody else. But I guess you don't get to be a millionaire by turning down cash. So even though I wouldn't take it, I have no problem with the fact that there are millionaires that are collecting Social Security. What I do have an issue with is that only the first 100,000 and some change of income is taxable. Millionaires only pay Social Security tax on that first 100,000 and change dollars. Now, the reason for that is that the Social Security tax is based on wage growth. And since the 1970s, wages have become pretty stagnant. So, Social Security tax hasn't grown very much. Hasn't grown the way it should, for example, if it were pegged to inflation. But wage growth for the vast majority of Americans has been pretty poor. But CEO pay has skyrocketed. At one time, before the Reagan administration, a CEO made about 40 to 50 times more than the average worker. Now the CEO makes 400 to 500 times what the average worker makes. And the number of workers making over $100,000 a year has actually decreased. But the people who make over $100,000 a year, well, they tend to make a lot more than that. Now, there is a lot of talk about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme. It's not. But it is underfunded, and the reasons why is that the rich are only paying Social Security taxes on a minimal amount of their income. We could preserve Social Security forever simply by raising the cap from what it is today to $5 million. Thanks for listening.